Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Arsenal won, Sporting Lisbon won, and then it went to penalties. Sporting Lisbon beat Arsenal 5-3 on penalties. And before I say anything, I need to say this. I have loved the Europa League this season. It is absolutely bonkers. It's a bonkers competition. I tell you what, if you like glamour, if you like glitz, watch the Champions League. If you want to see good football, you want to see end-to-end football, you want to see a competitive game, you watch the Europa League, because that is, I mean, no football fan can tell me that this season's Europa League hasn't had the better football. Maybe not the better quality, maybe not the better than maybe not the bigger stars, but I tell you what, the football that I've seen, the entertainment value, the Europa League is head and shoulders and everything else above the Champions League this season. Is fantastic, and this game was brilliant. And I'll say this, a lot of people will talk about Pedro Goncalves' goal, and that is a fantastic goal. That is a goal that deserves to win a game. But the people will have to talk about Antonio Adan. I thought Adan was the standout performer today, because without him, it doesn't go to penalties. Without him, they don't win that shootout. I mean, he was brilliant. And his heroics might get lost in that Pedro Goncalves goal. I hope not, because the performance that he put in today, a couple of outstanding saves in extra time, but even beyond that, the calmness, the assuredness, he looked like a top goalkeeper. He probably isn't, but he's probably had the game of his life, and he may never have a performance like this ever again. Maybe not. But he was just brilliant today, magnificent today. I think Sporting deserved the win. Just the thing is, and it's interesting as well. We'll go back to team selections, so we'll start off with that, because so many talking points to put for this match. I said, as Arsenal have not risking taking a chance when they play their big guns for games like this, because they don't have the squad to compete on two fronts. And at the end of this game, now that Arsenal have lost, they should be going back. You know what? Thank God we've lost the game. We can now focus our energy on the Premier League. We don't have to worry about the Europa League. We don't have to worry about that. The problem is, even just getting to penalties meant that Arsenal had lost. Whatever the outcome of the game, they'd lost, because for one, they'd lost Saliba, they've lost the Tomiyasu, right? Some of the players have had to play an extra 30 minutes. They wouldn't wanted them to play 30 minutes, and the psychological impact of losing on penalties is going to have such a detriment, because right now they need to win every game. They don't have a cushion over City. They need to win every game. To make sure that they have that. They lose one game, they draw one game, the initiative goes back to City. So they have to win every game. They've got a big game on Sunday. I thought they didn't have a game on Sunday. Actually, I thought, okay, fine, they've not got a game on Sunday, so you play your big guns, because you don't want them to get too rusty either. But they've got a game on Sunday, so why are you playing your big guns for the game of Sporting? You don't. You've got to understand the limitations of a squad. Because of that, and the fact, and now they've got the psychological blow of having lost today, and they're gonna have to go up again on Sunday. That is a big problem for Arsenal. If Arsenal had won, I would have said that it was a Pyrrhic victory, because it has come at such a great cost. But they've lost the game. That makes it even worse for Arsenal. But that first goal is well done from Arsenal. I have to say that. I think the Jorginho pass is so good. I don't think he had a good game, but that pass was really good. It was a wonderful pass overhead. Martinelli, I thought he was offside. Actually, I thought Martinelli was offside at first, but he actually kept himself onside. Fair play to him for keeping himself onside. He gets a shot away. Adan makes a save. He makes a save, but of course, that one time, Xhaka is there to hit the rebound. It's 1-0. And in that goal, of course, they lost Tomiyasu before, and during the goal celebrations, they lost Saliba. I just feel that at halftime, I think Arsenal got a little bit complacent. Being 1-0 up, they got a bit complacent. They probably thought, okay, game, job's done. Sporting will kind of just, try and hit us on the break. As long as you keep the ball, we're going to be okay. They kind of looked like they were a little bit, they just didn't expect what Sporting were about to do, and then Sporting just came out of the blocks in that second half like a house on fire. Basically, just ran that they ran ragged. They were trying to hurry Arsenal on the ball. They were winning the second balls. I think I've never said this before, but I do believe that the mark of a team on top is when they start winning second balls. Whichever team is winning the second balls, they're the ones that normally they're the ones that are on top. And Sporting, until they got their goal, they were on top, because they were winning a lot of the second balls. Arsenal kept losing the second balls. They started making sloppy passes. That goal comes from such a sloppy pass as well. I mean, Jorginho does well initially to get away from the place, and then he just passes it to Xhaka. Xhaka, for some reason, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's trying to pass it back. I don't know if that pass, if it's Xhaka's fault because he's made a pass back to Jorginho when he probably shouldn't, or if it's Jorginho's fault because he has not anticipated the pass coming back. I'm not sure whose fault it is. You could probably pin it on both of them, but one of them definitely makes the error on that. But Pedro Goncalves picks it up. He sees Adan Ramsdale is off his line. What a shot that is! It's just a beautiful finish. Those kind of finishes, they look good when they go in, but when they don't go in, they look very silly. So that's why, you've got to get it precisely right, and you got it precisely right. That is, it takes a bit of luck as well. I mean, let's be honest, there is a bit of luck involved in that goal anyway. But the fact is that the precision that he got on it, the confidence that he had to take it, is commendable, and that's a brilliant goal, beautiful goal. Like I said, a goal that deserves to win a game. It only equalized in this case. It didn't really win them the game, but that was a beautiful goal. I think Ramsdale just got out flat-footed. And of course the injuries didn't help because they didn't have a lot of substitutions. I was actually intrigued at halftime when he was going to take out Gabriel Jesus, because I was like, they've used up 2 of their slots. They've only got 2 slots, which is one is the halftime slot, and then the other is the one, during the game. So he's either got to make a change at halftime. If he doesn't, he's going to have to make a triple substitution somewhere around the 60th minute. So what is he going to do? And if he does a triple substitution, that means he doesn't have anything left after that. So I was intrigued, and he took the call. It was the right call to take off Jesus at halftime, because you're gonna have to take him off at some point. You can't leave him on there. And they had to do it at halftime. So that again played into Sporting's hand a little bit as well. I don't think Trossard had a good game. He didn't look on it today. And again, it shows that lack of depth, right? The lack of quality, reserve. Because the moment you start losing players, Arsenal's first 11 is really good, but maybe a couple of players after that are good as well. But once you start losing players, that depth isn't there. So they need to keep players fit, which is again goes back to team selection. But the extra time, I thought Arsenal were the better team. I thought bringing Thomas Partey on made a difference. As soon as they brought him on, they got control back in that midfield. They lost control for about 25-30 minutes, from in the first 25-30 minutes of that half. But once they brought Partey on, once they got Saka on, I think Partey just gave them that control in midfield. The problem was the ball just wasn't willing to go in after that first goal. It just wouldn't go in for Arsenal. And in the halftime, I think they were the better team. They were by far the better team, and they should have probably scored a goal. Trossard should be scoring that. I mean, it's a fantastic save from Adan, but really Trossard one-on-one, you've got to expect him to score that goal. He doesn't. There was another chance. I forget who it was. I think it wasn't Gabriel, was it? But I think it might have been. Was it Holding? I'm not sure who it was, but somebody it was, and it's a fantastic save again from Adan from a corner. It's a beautiful save, and he just keeps, he kept putting in it. Like I said, he kept putting in it, and then it goes to penalties. I have to say, aside from the save from Adan, all the other penalties, and maybe the last one, aside from the last one, I thought the other penalties were all pretty poor goalkeeping, and Adan was running too, he was anticipating too early. Ramsdale actually should have saved at least one of them, but he kept getting close without, he kept getting a hand or something to it. And the last one, the one before the one that Adan saved, he actually got dived over it. Ramsdale dived over it. Adan dived over his one as well. So it was not the best of penalty saving display or the penalty saving technique that you would have seen. And it's fair enough. I mean, goalkeepers are second favorites in penalty shootouts anyway. You're expecting the striker to score. But still, there is a technique to saving penalties, and oftentimes, and you can get it right, and you may still not save a penalty. But if you don't get it right, you're never saving a penalty. So I think that was the thing. But Martinelli, unfortunately for him, he was the one who had to miss it. Somebody had to miss, and it happened to be Martinelli. And then of course it was 5. It got 1, and Arsenal are out. And like I said, I mean, on the bright side, the good thing is if they can somehow get through that Palace match. They've got 2 weeks off for the international break. So somehow the focus really should be to try and get that win in that Palace game. Whatever happens, you get a 1-0, 2-1 scrappy goal, whatever. Just try and get a win from the Palace game. I don't think Saliba's injury is too serious. Maybe Tomiyasu's is, but I don't think Saliba's injury is too serious. So I think he might be out for the Palace game, but he should be back after the international break. Definitely. And they just got to now think about, let's get through that Palace game, because that is the last one where we got a midweek and a Sunday game. Let's get through that one, and then we can start thinking about how we go forward in there. So that game takes on massive importance. I think Palace would be up for it. It's a derby. They'll be up for it. I mean, the fact is that Arsenal are going to have to dig deep as well, fight hard. Let's see. It's now the psychological battle in that Palace game. It is the psychological battle now to see what happens. And I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal drop points against Palace. I really wouldn't, because I just don't know. I think Arteta got a lot wrong today. I don't think he's to blame. I don't think his tactics are to blame for today's defeat. Maybe he could have made some subs earlier, but what is to blame is the fact that you've got to, at this stage of the season, you've got to start thinking how you prioritize competitions. What happens when you play certain players in certain games? And I mean, at the end of the season, we might look back and go, right, Arsenal, they lost that game, but that was for the best that they lost that game, because Europa is going to be intense this season. The quarterfinals are coming, but it's going to be massively intense. So maybe we'll look back and go, right, they lost that game, but actually turned out well for them. But also we might go back and say the fact that he played his starters in that game is what cost him the league title. So we'll see what happens. It could go either way. Of course, I'm not a predictor, so I can't see the future. So I don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is that Palace game now is vital for Arsenal to get through. They've got to get through that game and get a win. But anyway, smash life for Sporting. I mean, they really did well. I mean, they battled hard. And at the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, you don't deserve to win, right? That's the way it is. And Sporting, credit to them, they fought hard. They look good, and they'll be a handful for whoever team they play next in the quarterfinals. They're going to be an absolute handful. And I tell you what, Ruben Amorim, he's going to be someone that a lot of clubs. I mean, a lot of clubs are already looking at him. But I think he's just raised his profile just a little bit more. He's raised it, and I'm sure a lot of clubs are going to be now looking even more seriously at him as their next manager. So watch out. That's the guy. I mean, he was my second choice after Ten Hag when United were looking for a new manager. So I know a lot about. I mean, not I know a lot about him, but I have admired him for a while. But I think a lot of clubs are now going to be interested in him as well. But anyway, smash like for Sporting. Share your thoughts on the game. Share your thoughts on Arsenal losing. I mean, do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that's a bad thing? How do you stand? I mean, as a fan, I can understand if you want to win every game, but sometimes you take a long macro view and you kind of go, right, maybe it's not such a bad result. But let me know what you think. Of course, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Love to have your thoughts. Love to have your support, of course, and we appreciate you subscribing and following this channel. So please do that. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.